Today we're doing Unit 4 Review Part 1. So this is on your own piece of paper. So make sure you have paper and write down the title. Pause if you need to. If not, we're moving on. Just test basics that you need to know. The first thing that you need to know is that it is 15 questions. So I might ask you that on your assignment maybe. 15 questions. And you also need to know that it is mainly not multiple choice. I think it might be half and half, but there's a lot of free response, so we really need to kind of go over that kind of stuff. Okay, we're gonna do four examples, 4 questions from your test today. They are very much how they look on your test. So here you go. Number 1, I need you to actually write this down. What is the effect of changing y equals 5x plus 9 to y equals 6x minus 9? So pause if you need to write it down. If not, I'm going to assume that you've already written it down. So I'm just going to go ahead and write them close together. I had 5x plus 9, and now I'm at 6x minus 9. Okay? So if we remember, slope, it was 5, and now it went to 6. So if you did graph changes, the further from 0, so if this is 0 slope, if this is 0 slope, if it gets further from 0, it gets steeper. So if we went from 5 to 6, so I would say it got steeper. And it was at positive 9, and now it's at negative 9. So it obviously went down. So I'm going to put and went down. But by how much? So if it was at positive 9 and now it's at negative 9, a way you can figure that out if you don't know is if it's at 0, I'm all the way up here at positive 9, and I need to get down here at negative 9. You can count it, or I'll just tell you, here to here is 9, and here to here is 9. So you went down 18. Okay, got steeper and down 18. That's all you have to write. You could put the slope is the same and it went up 6. Like, it depends on what it is, but you have to compare the two. Okay, that's the first one. Second one, this is a word problem. You don't have to write down word for word, but I do need you to write it down. Brittany and Billy are running a race in miles. Billy's speed can be represented by d equals 0.5x. Brittany's speed can be represented by d equals 0.2x plus 2. How can you compare their speeds? Okay, so just to break this down, pause if you need to write it down. I'm going to break it down. So Billy is 0.5x, and Brittany, I'll just put Brit, is 0.2x plus 2. And then you're just going to compare them just like you did the other example, but then we're going to compare it in real world terms. So if it was at 0.5 and now you're at 0.2, okay, did you get closer to 0 or further? And you should say closer, but if you don't know, who has more money, the guy that has 50 cents or the guy that has 20 cents? Well, if he went from 50 cents to 20 cents, he lost money, so he's getting closer to 0, closer to being broke. So if you put it gets less steep, that's true, but we're talking about speed here. So if he's talking about 0.5 and then she's 0.2, is she faster or is she slower? And you should say, well, she's slower because she's getting closer to 0, closer to not really moving. So I would say Brittany is slower. Now if she, for example, if this was 6 and this was 8, you would say Brittany is faster. And then let's compare the y-intercepts. He's at 0 right now, and she's at plus 2. So she's ahead of him. So he started at 0, now she's at plus 2. So she actually already started ahead 2. And you may say 2 what? Well, here it's in miles. So she is 2 miles ahead. So Brittany is slower and 2 miles ahead of Billy. I'll actually write. Okay? So if you want to make a note, you need to say faster or slower, because this looks just like your test. Faster or slower, and then ahead or behind. Like, did she start behind someone, or he, or whatever. Okay? So faster or slower, ahead or behind. And that's how you're going to write this out. Make sure you have a period, because I forgot mine. There you go. Okay? What is the slope that passes through? This is hang on. I'm going to rewrite that so you can actually see. A is negative 3.7, and B is negative 1.13. Okay? So make sure you write that down. Pause if you need to. What is the slope that passes through these 2 points? Now you should know this, we've done this before, so this is just y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay? We've done this before, slope formula. And if you don't remember, we put x here and y here. X here and y here. Okay? This is the first point, and this is the second point. So y2 is 13 minus y1 is 7 over x2 is, that is a negative 1, so negative 1 minus, and x1 is negative 3. Real quickly, a lot of y'all, even if it's negative, you're just putting minus 3, but that's a negative 3. You need to write negative 3, like that. Okay? 13 minus 7, I'll just tell you is 6. 1 minus negative 3, I could tell you, but I just want to show you. Negative 1 minus negative 3 is a positive 2. And then 6 divided by 2 is just 3. So I'm going to put the slope is 3. You can't see what I'm writing. The slope is 3. Okay, write it as a sentence. Slope is 3. Okay? Another way you could do that is how I showed you before, so I just want to show you real quick. You could go to stat, enter, and put the points in here. So negative 3, 7. So I'm going to put negative 3 here. And I'm going to put 7 here, just like you learned the other day. Negative 1 and 13. Negative 1 and 13. Okay, and if you remember, you hit stat again. Go over to calc. You hit option 4. All the way down to calculate, and you hit enter. And you can see the slope here is 3, which is what we got as well. So you can do it by hand with slope formula, or you can do it in the calculator. Either way works. All right, last example for this note video. I know it's just, you don't have to write every word, but just summarize. But there are certain words that are very important. So what this says is a bowling alley charges $2 per hour to rent their shoes. Write an equation that could be used to determine the total cost of rental fees are for shoes that you use for H hours. Okay, pause if you need to write it, please. Otherwise, we're moving on. Okay, so here's what you're going to start with. The total cost is rental fees, right? So you're going to start, normally you'd put Y equals, but they're telling you to use R. So you're going to go ahead and put R equals. The rental fee is, and it's $2 per hour, right? That doesn't say like you have to give them $10 or $5. It's just $2 per hour. So the rental fee is $2 per hour, so 2H, and that is it. Okay, you don't have to give them $5 for something, or you don't have to, you know what I mean? Like it's easy, $2 per hour. Now be careful, depending on your teacher, they may accept like Y equals 2X, or they may have to use the exact numbers that they give. I don't know, but that's basically how you do it. Okay, so this is 4 problems that you'll see on your Unit 4 test, almost exactly like how they're going to be written. One with slope formula, one where you're having to compare speeds, and one where you're just having to compare lines as well. Yet again, it's 15 questions. If you have any questions on your assignment, let me know. Otherwise, get started.